Hey everybody, welcome back to Sloth Fab Garage. As you can see, I'm not in my typical setting. We are in a new shop. There's a lot to do yet, but we have a roof over our heads. I don't even have garage doors in here yet. There's a lot to do, but new shop, time for a project. Many of you know that I am on maybe my 10th or 12th set of headlights over the years. I'm kind of addicted to switching them out. I like to keep things fresh. So here's what I've got right now. There is, see if I can get them to focus. There is not really anything wrong with these lights. I actually rather like the way they look. Cutoff is pretty decent, but it's time for something new. And it just so happens that a company called LOYO got in contact with me, and they wanted to send me some headlights. These just came out, so we're gonna give them a shot. This should be a relatively simple install. Switching out headlights on a TJ, really simple to begin with. And these do have, as we saw on the front of the case here, these do have running lights, turn lights, and then your typical low and high beam. This is going to be run off of your standard H4 plug, and then these will have to be spliced into your other DRL and blinker wiring. I'm not going to go through that wiring on this particular video. I have done that on a previous video, so we're just going to go through the install, check them out, look at the beam pattern, see what they look like, and just kind of enjoy the new space a little bit. So let's get to it. So the first thing you're going to need to do is take off this headlight bezel here. There are 3 screws, one at the bottom and then one up on each side. Those are typically a T15 from the factory if they haven't been changed. I've gone ahead and changed all of mine out with Phillips. It just makes the whole thing a lot easier. You don't have to dig for Torx every time. I highly recommend you do it. If you haven't, then it'll cost you a couple bucks at the hardware store to swap them out, and then you pretty much always have the right thing to take them out. Now, I know that it's been a while since I did a last video. I've been pretty busy building this shop, so there will be some videos talking about where and what and the whole situation here with this shop. Tear down of the building that was here previously. I'll discuss all that with you guys. I just need to get around to editing those videos. I'm going to reach through the grill here and just pop it out. From the back it was a little stuck. Sometimes they slide out, sometimes not. Next, you have a trim ring here that is actually what's holding the headlight in place. There are again 3 screws, 1, 2, and 3. Actually 4 of them, 2 on the bottom, 2 on the top. Again, I have switched mine over to Phillips. I do believe these are Torx from the factory as well. These were already changed when I got this Jeep, so I do not know firsthand, but if I recall correctly, they were Torx. I'm gonna go ahead and pull all 4 of those out, and you gotta be careful a little bit, because as you pull this out, the headlight weight is going to want to pull the whole headlight out. And if you have glass headlights, like most of the new ones are, they can be kind of heavy and you don't want to drop them. You can break a lens or strain wiring or anything like that. So here is the bezel. You can see, get rid of the screws. You can see there's 4 little tabs around it, and that just slides over the top. That's out. Now I can pull this headlight out. I've got to disconnect my wiring in there, so I'm gonna rely on the wiring to hold it. Pop the hood open. Now I will show you in here. Be warned, inside of my engine bay looks very, very little like a factory engine bay, but directly behind the headlight here, there's a cutout right here. Mine is half blocked, but you should be able to see this entire cutout there. That's where your wiring is going to be coming through. There will be an H4 plug in here. Let's see if I can pull mine out a little bit here. That's going to be right here. I need to be careful. I'm going to set you guys down so that I don't end up dropping this headlight here. This is one stuck plug. There we go. And then I've also got my 2 additional plugs here. I already have everything wired in for the additional lights, so I'm not going to need to address that today. I do have them, the fittings black taped. That just helps to keep things a little bit more watertight. I know I could throw some dielectric grease on there, but as I said, I change out headlights a lot, at least once a year. So, and that also helps isolate the 2. So I wrap one first, and then I wrap the second one, including the first one. Pull that spade out. Pull that spade out. There we go, and headlight comes right out front. There we go. Set this one down. That's what you're going to be looking at. This screw here, this screw here, and this screw here, they are T10s maybe would be my best guess. Those are adjustment screws to adjust that bezel in there and aim your headlight. They do get stripped out fairly often, so you kind of got to be a little bit careful with them, but if you're still work, awesome. Oh. Look at that. Never know what you'll find. So that is out, so let's take a look at one of our new headlights. I'm going to leave the protective covering on here pretty much right till I'm done, so I don't have a chance of scraping this up. Let's see. They do include leads for splicing into your existing wiring, which is nice. Look at that. Waterproofed spade fittings. That's actually a pretty decent amount of wire too. One for each. And then an H4 to an H7 plug. So if you have a JK, these will be what you want for that. Otherwise, H4 is what's on there already, and that's what the TJ runs, so that should be relatively simple. We've got a female spade here. Let's make sure. Looks like mine are opposite that. Looks like I have female spades on mine. That's not a big deal. All I'm gonna do is pop these off and swap them out for a male spade. This is not something you guys would have to do because you'd be wiring in fresh. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop those, switch them out quick, and then we'll get right back to it. Okay, I've got my wires on here swapped over, easy breezy. What I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna turn my running lights on so that I can figure out which wire is which. So right now my running light's on. Now these types of headlights do ground through the H4 plug. Sometimes they will work without the H4 plug being plugged in. That does not appear to be the case here. So, plug my H4 in. Now my headlight's grounded. Oh, looks like we're getting something there. There we go. All right, so it looks like on these particular lights, the factory wiring, it's the yellow with black stripe. That is the daytime running light. and it looks like the red on here is my daytime running light. You can see white, and if I go ahead and swap this over to the green, then it looks like that would be my amber turn signal, which makes sense because the factory wire is green for the turn signal, so green to green, red to the other one. Easy, easy. I guess that's it. I can go ahead and turn off my lights now and go ahead and slide this light right into place. So I'm gonna unplug everything. I also want to mention one thing about these lights, which is really cool. I have not seen this on lights before. On the back of these, sometimes you'll notice that headlights, especially if you live somewhere cold, I'm up in Wisconsin, so if you live somewhere cold, sometimes your headlights will have condensation on the inside, which can be really frustrating. Just doesn't look good for, I mean, there's other benefit or other downsides, but it looks not professional, and that's not good. These have little breathers on the back here and here, and you can pop those out, and you're supposed to turn your headlights on for about an hour, and apparently the heat from the headlight and the ability to breathe will actually clear the condensation out of your headlights. So that's really cool. All right, next step is I'm just gonna feed these wires through. I don't need to worry about connecting them right now because they have plenty of lead off of the back. This is a nice long lead and it's off the top of the light. So I'm just gonna feed it through. Pull that, look at that. It is a nice, brand new, shiny headlight bulb. I like that. I think that right there is what gets me, is the shiny lenses. After you drive these things for more than 6 months, your headlights start to take a little bit of wear and tear just naturally. And I don't know, I like when they're shiny and new, I guess. Not so bad. So I'm gonna struggle here to line this up. Let's see. Right there, I think is where I want it. Now what I'm gonna do with these is, as I get these in, I'm not gonna tighten them down all the way. I'm gonna get two opposites first here so that the bezel stays in place and holds my headlight for me. All right, there we've got two. Now I can let go. I'm gonna take my other two and just get them started. Some headlights are thicker than others, and that can mean that your, as you get that bezel just started even, it'll be really tight. You don't want that. So sometimes you may have to get longer screws to make it easier, but I've got it loose in there, and that means that I can actually reach through the back. Ooh, this one is pretty tight already. I may have to loosen that up. But you can reach through the back, and if you're holding the front and the back at the same time, you can adjust the rotation of the headlight a little bit. I might not even be able to with this. Oh, there we go, a little bit. And just gonna look at this front on. That looks pretty straight up and down. That just allows you to get the headlight clocked correctly. If the headlight is twisted, instead of your beam shooting straight out, your beam will be shooting at an angle and off to the side. So you want the headlights straight up and down. Basically just stand back, take a look at it. You'll be able to tell the grill pieces here are straight up and down, so you can kind of gauge off of that. Once that's all good, I'm gonna go ahead and tighten this up. Once that's tight, I can put my ring back on here, and then we'll deal with the wiring and see what they look like. I don't know if you guys could see that super well, but when these headlights turn on, the startup thing is super cool. It's weird because from the side it doesn't look super bright, but dead on it's very bright. Wish I could get a better look at these. At first I thought they were just standard halos. From the picture it kind of looks like they are, but it's actually this inner ring of little lights there that's lit up, and it just reflects through that outer ring. Very, very cool. Let's take a look and see what we've got. The blinkers work. Take a look and see. Nice. You can't tell super well in this video either, but the actual daytime running lights in there are still lit up white while the blinker is flashing. So that's kind of cool. That works. Oh, wow. That is a very bright headlight beam. Very nice. Okay. Of course, got high beams as well. So that's a quick install on that. I'm gonna get the other one swapped in, and then as the sun goes down here, we'll take this thing out, maybe spin it around up against, so you can put the lights on the garage wall here, and you can see the cutoff, and what they really look like and how much they light up. I have a feeling these are going to be really good. That low beam is very, very bright. So I'll get this swapped up and check back with you guys. So I'm out here in the driveway at night, and you can see that's just the running lights. That's nothing. It's the running lights as they come to life. There we go. And then that is the normal beam. I don't have them perfectly aligned, but you can kind of see a step in them here, and then it steps up, and then this one does the same. That is specifically designed so that the ditch side is a higher light, so you have more visibility in the ditch, and then over here where it's traffic oncoming, you're not in people's eyes quite as much. Brights are just a typical center bright beam, but overall I've been super pleased with these. I've had them in for the last, I think, 2 months now. Had them driving all over with them. I've had them in Tennessee. We night wheeled there, and they were flawless. But yeah, they've been great so far, and I guess as long as they keep doing what they're doing, I have no complaints. Well, so far, I think I would give these a 5 out of 5. Like I said, it's been a couple months that I've had them in now. They've had 0 issues so far. Super bright, great cutoff. I'm really happy to be back to halos. I really am. So I guess this is where I'm going to leave you on this one. I will throw the link for the video talking about the specifics of the wiring in the description of this video. But other than that, appreciate you guys watching. I'll throw these in the description, obviously. And if you have any questions on wiring or setting up your headlights, just let me know. See ya.